Hey, good morning, everybody. Pastor Zach here. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today as we gather together, as we seek to build community, and as we engage in these opportunities to connect. Um, it's that time of year again, not Christmas. We still got a long way to go before that. But in the church year, it is the season of Lent, which starts tomorrow. Today is a day called Shrove Tuesday, Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. It is a day of celebration. It used to be a day where people would clean out all of that stuff. They would use up their sugar, they would use up their fat, because Lent was often seen as a time to give up, to fast, to sort of hold back. And it comes from this notion of, taking that introspective time to think and to spend some time with God. And yet, I think often we've missed the point in more recent years in that, oh, well, we're going to fast. We're going to give up chocolate. We're going to give up coffee. We're going to give up something that it's a little meaningful to me, but does it really impact us other than that craving? And what I mean by this is, this understanding of fasting, of giving something up, of that religious connotation is more so that when we do it, we start to change our thought process and we refocus. So we use that time, we use that energy, we use that something else for a different purpose. One of the readings coming up, and actually my daughter sent to me about this reading, is from Joel, and it says, "Return to me with all your heart, rend your heart and not your garment." So back in times of old, when there would be mourning, people would, tear clothing, they would, sort of bare themselves open when there was this recognition of sin. King David does it. Various other leaders do it. They'll rip open. When Jonah goes into the city, they call a fast. They talk about sitting down in the dust in sackcloth, which was, really rough. It wasn't fine linen. It was, really uncomfortable stuff. Think of like a barley or just a sack, a rough sack. So, but the other part of it is this notion of to rend your heart. So this notion of rending, of, when they would tear their garments, they would open it up. And that's the point of Lent, is to open ourselves to a God who is nearby, to be vulnerable to a God who knows all, and yet who waits for us to come and to share all that is going on. It's not about, and Jesus talks about this, those that, would disfigure themselves when they would go out to let everyone know that they were fasting or doing this. So it's not about this performance. It's not performative. It's about this introspective opening, this surrender, this opportunity to create this avenue so that we allow God in. I've been seeing billboards and ads and things like this about, the winter weather and how to seal your home to protect it against, letting that cold air in. And so you put caulk around windows and this and that. And this is sort of the opposite effect, is that it's, you open yourself, you open that which is separating you, keeping you at a distance from God, from others. It's about creating that connection point, removing some of that space, that distance that we so often try to do, that veil or that mask that we put on, to say, no, my life is great, everything's perfect, we're all fine, everything's fine. And yet it's not. And so what does it mean in this season, as we look at Lent tomorrow, starting tomorrow with Ash Wednesday, as we remember that we are finite, that we are limited, and yet we have this opportunity. We have this option to connect with a God who is infinite and yet who still is there waiting to break into those spaces when we allow them to be opened. This notion of, rending your heart, of, loosening those things. This past Sunday, we talked about the Transfiguration, which is this, story of Jesus going up the mountainside with some of his disciples. And so go back, listen to that sermon. But part of what I want to talk about is they talked about this space where, it seemed that was a space that sort of opened up, sort of, when you when you see kids pick at their jeans to open up those spaces. I don't know if they actually do that anymore. They just buy them with holes in them. But, those thin spaces, and in the Jewish custom, the holiest of holies, where the ark was separated by this woven fabric that only the chosen were allowed in. And at Jesus' crucifixion, that is just ripped apart. It is thrown open. And so what Lent invites us to do this season is to pull at those threads. Maybe we're not ready to rip it fully open. Maybe we're struggling with ourselves to see ourselves fully of who we are as a beloved child of God. Maybe we're ashamed at what God might see or others might see if we, fully open ourselves. But maybe if we use these 40 days coming up to start picking at those threads, start opening ourselves up, start being more vulnerable, start spending more time with God to rend our hearts, to open that, to soften it, to hear that opportunity of connection that God has with us. That is the whole purpose, so that when we finish Lent, when we get to Easter, when we get to that celebration, that light that breaks through, that shines out, warms us more fully, so that we have an opportunity to proclaim and profess it more deeply, with an opportunity to live moving forward. Not just get through the 40 days so we can, caffeinate again or get our chocolate fix, but so that as we move forward, our life changes. And no, you don't have to do this alone. If you're looking for someone to walk with you, to journey with you, to engage with you, reach out. We are here. I am here. So I invite you, have fun today. Have your Fastnacht, have your donut. Have a joy-filled day as we prepare for tomorrow. Join us here as we offer Ashes to Go starting at 8 a.m. till 9:30, and then from 11:30 to 1 tomorrow, and then our service both on-site and online at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, where all are welcome. The Ashes to Go, we will receive the imposition of ashes. If you have children who are in school locally and you want to bring them in the mornings, feel free. We will have slips for school that they were at a religious function. So let me know. I invite you to share in this time as we engage and we move forward together in faith. Thank you all so much. As always, I encourage you to share this with someone, to speak to it, ask questions, comments, leave smart remarks as we continue to move forward in faith together. Take care, everybody. God bless. Have a great day.